33, he's 58, in jail and one half of Britain's most notorious gangster twins. Kate Kray tells why she married Ronnie at 11:10.
Now, have you ever...
Fascinate Ruth Rendell, the woman who married Britain's most notorious gangster, Ronnie Kray. See you soon.
Welcome back. Now, our next guest is 35, her husband is 58, and he was once one of the most feared men in Britain. The Kray twins ruled the London underworld, of course, in the 60s through a reign of terror and extortion. So why did she marry Ronnie Kray? Kate Kray, very good morning to you. Before anything else, would you like to say good morning to your husband, because I know he's watching us from Broadmoor. Do you say hello?
Hiya.
Actually, you see him every couple of weeks, twice a week rather, don't you?
Yeah.
All right, let's start at the beginning. I mean, you obviously must have heard about the Krays. You and I are of the same age, actually, so we both sort of read about them in the 60s. How did you end up marrying one of them?
Well, I met Reggie first. I was stuck in London, and I just saw a picture of him in a book, and I just wrote to Reggie first. So
Why? Why'd you write to him?
I don't know. I didn't even read the book. I just wrote to him. I just wondered if he had his own teeth, if I'm honest with you.
Why?
I don't know.
Was there something about the photograph?
No, I was just being nosy.
Yeah,
I was just a bit nosy, I suppose. So I just wrote to Reggie and asked him that. He just probably thought it was funny. But they get about, I don't know, 50 letters a day each. So that it's not unusual for people just to write to him.
Yeah.
Friendly letters?
Some friendly,
Yeah.
some a bit cranky, but mainly they're just like from people that want to know about them or just want a book from them or something signed or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, so you went and met him, had a wee chat. What happened?
I went to
from
see
there?
Reggie first, and I was seeing Reggie for about a year before I went down to see Ron, because I was wary of Broadmoor and, you know, what went with it, really. And in the end I did go, because there was a postal strike, and then I met him.
OK, what happened?
It was just, I don't know, it's just like meeting you, really. He's just a normal
Cheers.
man. Well, you should be complimented. He's just a normal man.
Yeah.
He's just a really nice, normal chap, and he just looked like my bank manager.
Yeah. Right. So he's a nice, normal chap. Are we talking about Ronnie here or Reggie?
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
That's
Right,
why I call it Married
Getting
to the
confused
Krays,
here.
because people always...
Absolutely. We get. Yeah, I know you married Ronnie, but I lost track of when you were actually changed over from seeing Reggie to Ronnie. You thought he was a nice, normal man. There's a big difference between thinking that and thinking you're in love with someone, you want to marry them. And presumably you did fall in love with him. It wasn't in any sense a marriage of convenience, because, to be frank, what's in it for you?
Well, it's not an easy life. It's been said that I married him for money or his name or whatever, but at the end of the day, if I wanted to marry someone for money, I could have married someone outside and it would have been a much easier life. This is not an easy option. So what's in it for me? I do love him, but there's lots of things that go with it. It wasn't just a thing I thought, I got up one day and thought, oh, I'm going to marry this man. It was just when I married him, it was just the next ordinary step in a relationship.
You're not the first person to have married somebody who's doing a long stretch inside. It's not unknown, although it's very unusual. Can I ask you a personal question? Have you consummated the marriage? Have you been able to?
Of course not.
They always ask me that question. They always ask me that question. No.
No. Because you're not allowed to, basically. Are you allowed alone? Are you allowed to sort of spend some time completely alone?
Well, no, not alone. I mean, there's always lots of people around. I mean,
difficult.
you know, just a bit. It's too much for a gentleman. No, sometimes we go in the garden and things, and there's not so many people around then. But other than that, no.
No.
And your actual wedding. Now you married Ronnie inside.
In Broadmoor.
And you had a wedding reception afterwards, which he obviously couldn't come to. That must have been awful.
Well, no, not really, because, I mean, people think it's a strange marriage, but it's just normal to me. It's just a normal thing. Unless you know something different, it's not. So we had our little reception in Broadmoor, and then we went out.
Kate, can I just... I'm sorry about this, but we're getting some news down our earpiece from ITN. There's an urgent news flash. We're coming back to you just as soon as we can, but now here's Sue Carpenter.
Thanks, Judy. It's just been announced from Downing Street that the Prime Minister is going to Buckingham Palace at midday, when it's assumed he'll tell the Queen he's calling an election on April the 9th. A special cabinet meeting is going on at the moment to finalise details. The Queen will be asked to dissolve Parliament on Monday. More news as we get it. Our next scheduled news is at 11:55. Now it's back to this morning.
Thank you very much indeed, Sue.
Well,
don't you just wish they'd get on with it, though, eh?
There you go.
Just say, you know, April the 9th.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. That's all right. There we were, having a nice conversation.
Yes, you get all interrupted by that nice Mr Major. Prisoners aren't allowed to vote, are they? So
no.
Your husband can't actually put his cross next to anybody. No.
We won't ask you who you're going to vote for.
No, of course not.
All right. Conservative.
Will you?
Will you
Anything else you want to know?
No, it's all right.
It's all right. No, put your heart in your sleeve. That's fine. Getting back to this marriage. How long have you been married now?
2.5 years.
2.5 years, and you see him, as we said. Thank you very much indeed, Sue.
Well.
Don't you just wish they'd get on with it, though, eh?
There you go.
Just say, April the 9th.
Yeah,
April the 9th.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
There we were, having a nice
Yes,
conversation.
you get all interrupted by that nice Mr. Major.
An election.
Prisoners aren't allowed to vote, are they? So
No.
your husband can't actually put his cross next to anybody. No.
We won't
All
ask
right.
you who you're going to vote for.
No, of course not. All right.
Conservative.
Will you?
Will you
Anything else you want to know?
No, it's all right.
All right, no, put your heart in your sleeve, that's fine. Getting back to this marriage, how long have you been married now?
2.5 years.
2.5 years, and you see him, as we said earlier, twice a week.
Sometimes more if I
Sometimes
like.
more. And you live in Kent, so you drive down to Broadmoor,
Yeah.
do you? What do you talk about when you meet? Because his life's very sort of similar, isn't it, day to day?
Well, with Ronnie, there's always things to do, people to see, there's always letters to answer, and so there's lots.
Yeah. You talk about the past. You talk about what
No,
happened
I'm not
in the
interested
60s.
in all that. I'd be a fool to try and even comment on all what happened before. There is a Ronnie Krays of the 70s, 80s and the 90s. There's not just a Ronnie Kray of the 60s.
When do you hope he's served 24 years now, has
Yeah.
he? You must be hoping, if you're in love with him, you must be hoping that there will come a period in both your lives when you can be together properly as man and wife. You're 33. Are you also hoping for
35.
children?
35.
35. I keep on calling you 33.
Am I
for
hoping
some
for
reason.
children?
You look young. Are you hoping for children?
No.
No,
No,
you
I can't
don't-
have children, but I wouldn't want any anyway. I mean, I would have had children by now if I'd wanted any. So no. I mean, and at the end of the day, Ron's got a lot of catching up to do, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's not going to be ladled down with kids and things.
I know you're a very realistic woman, so you won't mind me asking this question, because some people will be thinking it. I mean, have you married him and written the book? Because you've got this book out now,
yeah.
you said Married to the Krays, basically to make some money, to make a living.
No, I make a living anyway. Ron doesn't support me, I support myself. I pay my own mortgage. I'm just a normal working girl, down to earth, and I've got my mortgage to pay, my bills to pay, just the same as everyone else. I was approached and asked if I'd write the book,
Yeah.
and I thought, first of all, I mean, Ron pulled my leg and said, "Yeah, what you going to say?" And I thought about it, and there's nothing I can really say. Only how I see Ron, and all these people, other people that write books on Reg and Ron, they knew him like 25 years ago. But it's like saying that people say, will he be a gangster when he comes out? But it's like saying that Terry Wogan was a hippie in the 60s and he's going to be a hippie in the 90s.
I don't think it's quite like saying that.
Well, it
actually,
is
Kate, to
really.
be
You
fair.
mature and you go on to different
But he
things.
was fairly mature when he went to prison, surely. I mean,
Yeah.
are you convinced that he would be a completely different person? He's not well either, is he, to be honest?
Well, he's not well. I mean, all his illnesses are controlled by his drugs.
Yeah.
So,
He's got schizophrenia, hasn't he?
yeah, he's a
Yeah.
paranoid schizophrenic. But he's always had that since he was 22.
Yeah.
Well,
But you're
you-
convinced, just to
Sorry,
finish that
Judy,
off,
go on, yes.
you're convinced that if you ever do manage to lead a normal life together, that you won't regret it. You won't discover things about him when you're living with him that you're not aware of while he's so far away from you.
Yeah, but I have more chance to talk to my husband than most people do outside. That's the only thing we can do is talk. So I sit for hours talking to Ron. I'm not saying that I know him inside out because I'd be a fool to say I don't. But at the end of the day, I do get to talk to him. And with me writing my book, at least I can give over a different side of him. That all these other people seem to think they can say and what Ron's like, and they don't even go to see him.
Does he think that he should be let out now? Does he think that he's done he's done as much time as he's required to do?
Well, no, Ron never complains about his time. He just does it, and he doesn't whit Ron about that. He's got his life, with me and inside Broadmoor. So no, he doesn't complain about it. But at the end of the day, why shouldn't he be let out? Because he's in the length of time that he's been in prison, he's seen like rapists and child murderers come in and go out, and they've all done far less time than Reg and Ron.
Have you ever met Barbara Windsor? Because she...
That's an odd question.
No, it's not. It's not because her husband was also...
No, she's been to see Reggie a few times.
Yes, I know she has, and she knows great. And she has a very similar attitude towards her ex-husband as you have towards your present husband, which is that basically, as long as he's good to me... And
No, I'll stop you there because not good to me. Ron's not just good to me. Ron would never hurt a woman, he'd never hurt children, and Ron wouldn't hurt anybody that was straight. He didn't even then. What he did was business, and people in his business knew what Ron was like,
played
and
by
they
the
was
rules of
exactly
their
the same.
game.
That's
Yeah.
right. Ron just didn't walk out and shoot a postman, and I would, I can't stick up for what he did, but he was ruthless in his business.
Well, just one more question on the back of that, really. Is the reason, do you think, deep down, that you've married him and that you talk about him like this, because you're attracted to that glamorous, dangerous side of
No,
life?
there's lots of gangsters outside that are just as glamorous.
There were
and-
lots of people who fancied the
Ron's-
Krays in the 60s because
yeah,
they
but
had this
still is
dangerous
now.
reputation.
There still is now. But no, there's lots of people outside that I could probably fall for just as much as Ron. But no, not at all.
She liked Barbara Windsor, didn't she?
Oh, don't say that.
It was lovely to meet you, Kate. Thank you very much, and good luck in your life in the future.
And I hope
things
you like
work
my
out for
book.
you. Oh, yes.
You?
Your book, Married to the Krays. Right.
Yeah.
Get your plug in there. We're going to take a break now. Back in about 2 minutes. See you then.